dyslexia. That's
Yeah.
one. So you were not an easily educated young man.
No. So, well, it was a different era. So both my kids have dyslexia, and watching them go through it, I realized like how great it is when people have an issue and they get help with it. Right? When people say like kids are very healing, and I go like, as an idea, I don't know what that means. It's like, it's a cool concept, but you're like, oh, you have what I have, and these are the natural steps.
Yeah. What do you think of school now? Now that you're a parent and you see the education system, because there should be a place maybe or probably for someone like you.
I think it's hard, man. I think there's so many kids, and I think it's really hard to create something that works for all.
For everybody, yeah.
I think what's really unfair is the economics of it all, that if you have the means to help, you can, and if you don't, you can't. And my family growing up, my mother, we had enough money to live in a nice suburb, but we did not have money considering where we were from. So we were not in a situation where you could just like throw money at tutors.
Yeah.
So I think it's really tricky. I think I'm really glad I went through it, because then when we first started realizing something was up, I was really excited because I can tutor them now. So with the stuff, like basic stuff, like
from what you know from back then, or for what you've
like
seen?
Tricks. Like for example, if I'm going to memorize something, I can't just read it once or twice and get it. I have to read it 10 times. I have to write it out on paper, and then it starts getting drilled in. But there are moves. So when my daughter started doing word problems, they understand the math, but the word problems get into them. And so I would go, we need to read it 10 times before we answer. And now I've seen, since they've been like getting help and working on it, they don't need to do that. And I'll still go like, honey, we need to read 10 times. And they'll be like, Dad needs to read it 10 times. And I'm like, oh, the brain can rewire. And you're like, neat, you can get better and you can get tools.
Great.
And I'm like, so what I really think about education is it really depends on where you are and how you're getting it.
Be rich is what you're saying.
It's just
have your dad be syndicated.
Yeah, it's such an unfair system.
Yeah.
That's what I really feel about the education.
That thing you said about the healing thing is pretty fascinating. In that, because I'm dealing with it's my girl's kid, but I'm like pretty involved. And you see the way you speak to him is totally different than how you speak to yourself.
100%.
So how do you wish there was more of that kindness toward yourself? The kindness you have for your kids.
Yeah.
Do you think and then on the other end is you're lazy. Your mom's saying you're lazy, work harder. Which is true?
You're lazy, work harder, be kind to yourself.
Or be kind to yourself. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
yeah. So in my life, not for my kids' life, my wife and I had a lot of big talks when they were younger, because I will push my kids sometimes.
I can feel myself wanting to push this kid.
Yes. And it's hard because you go, this generation and the world doesn't like this anymore. But going back to what my Uncle Eddie used to say to me, where he would say like, you're a fucking loser. You don't have it. He taught me chess, and he's like, you need a game. We played it, I'm not kidding, for 3 or 4 months. Then one day he goes, do you want to play for money? Because I'd started to beat him. And I was like, sure. We played, I'm not kidding, Neil, I think it was a $1 game. He beat me in 5 moves. And I went like, okay. And he was like, you're not good at it. And I'm like, all that time for a $1 hustle? But what it did is it put like a fire in me to be like, fuck you, I hate you, I'm going to beat you. So when I went back to school and I would be like, starting to like, who really cares? I have to show my Uncle Eddie that you don't know. You'll see.
Negative inspiration.
I love it. And the big thing that's been happening when we're talking about The Ring is moving. I was just talking to my buddy Eric about this, the guy I did the show with. If you're not playing with a basis of hate and you'll see, it gets a little tricky of why you're playing. I don't even know who the enemies are anymore. I don't know who the bad guys are. I don't know who's winning. I don't know who's losing. So I'll wake up and I'll be like, all right, let's figure out what we're doing next. And I'm like, for just me? It used to be really nice when you had like clear rivals because there was only like 12 people playing. Nowadays, I'm like, everybody's pretty cool. And if they're not cool, I don't know them. I don't interact with them. They're not in my little circle of stuff that I consume. Yeah. So they didn't like something I did? Gives a fuck. Okay. Who are they?
Right.
I don't even know who they are.
But there was value to.
Oh, the you will see mentality. I would lay in bed, that thing would go off in my head of, I have to make something. I have to figure this out. I have to break through. It has to work. I have to make money. I have to figure out this puzzle. I don't care if I sleep. I don't care if I'm healthy. I don't care how it feels. It doesn't matter. Just fucking win. Figure it out. And that was a really fun way to live.
And it's also, it's not a, I mean, I would say it's not a teachable management style, but it was taught for hundreds of years.
Exactly.
It was the management style. I always say the only leadership mentors men have are screamers, are military and sports.
100% right.
So this thing of like,
be kind and gentle to yourself.
Yes.
Well, I think that because my wife is very much into that. So she would say things when we were younger. I'd go like, I wonder what they're going to do with their lives. And my wife would go like, well, I hope they're happy. And I'd be like, fucking anybody's happy. Like, what are you going to do? What's your purpose on life? And then as they've gotten older and if things have changed, I'm like, oh, we are all living more in that other world. The point of the day is to find happiness, to find joy.
You and I will both attest to the fact that we're hedging.
Yes.
I am pursuing happiness and give me money.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And give me fucking success and give me status. Well, and I'm back and forth legitimately.
Agreed. Same, always. But it's like this. Some people like to hike, to walk around and look at the flowers and smell things and enjoy themselves. Other people go, all right, I'm going to try to do 12 miles today up that rocky terrain, and it's 98 degrees. And what's fun is either succeeding or failing.
So what are you secretly teaching your kids?
So what I'm trying to teach, so my wife, I think, is teaching them love and acceptance and try to have a happy life. And I'm reminding them that you got to have a little grit and it's okay to do hard things. Like, for example, I just started making them do very brief workouts in my garage. I like lifting weights. I always have. It's fun. So what I like about it is what I'm making them do now is they're doing these like little squat thrusters. And I'll look at my daughter and she'll be at 4 and I could tell she's tired. My instinct is to put my arm around her and be like, you're done. You did so good. But I like saying you can do hard things. It's supposed to be unpleasant. There's no AC. This is a hot box.
Yeah.
We're working out in a disgusting little sauna. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. The music's too loud. That weight is heavy. And then I'll say like, it's over your head. Do not drop it. There's no safety net.
No, meanwhile, it's like a gorgeous ADU in Silver Lake, but it's a hot box, and there's only 3 air conditioning units.
The aesthetic is hot box. I built a wonderful aesthetic.
Yeah, it's a barn.
Well, also there is upside down. There's a trainer holding the weights for my daughter.
of course, Hollywood.
But I like that. So that's what I'm trying to do. I make them do things like jiu-jitsu. I make them do stuff like that. We've realized we were buying them too much stuff without thinking. So now it's an allowance and they don't get to spend it unless it's their money. I got them.
How old are they?
10.
Great.
But I'm like, I like that feeling of them being like, I didn't get that and I'm disappointed.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say which parts of life were too harsh.
Yes.
When it worked.
Yeah.
Like because I started working when I was 11. And I'm like
11?
Yeah, I started caddying at Indian Hill. At Indian Hill.
Where did you grow up?
In Wilmette.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and then I moved.
Oh, when did you move?
86.
Oh, and then where to?
Chicago. I'm sorry, Philly.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I started caddying when I was 11 at Indian Hill. So
yeah, for sure.
So that seems young.
Yes. But I was mowing lawns my whole life.
Yeah, to carry carry rich people's luggage.
Yes.
Like their sports luggage.
Yeah,
But at the same time, like I can't argue with the results.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like even I
don't know either. How old is your girlfriend's son?
4, almost 4.
He's a baby still.
So he said he lost. He hates losing. And me and my girlfriend were talking. He was like, he lost and he was mad. And my girl was like, you know, you have to learn how to improve. And he's like, and losing's not a big deal. And he was like, yeah, I know. And then he literally said to himself, but I have to win. So it's like, and we both were kind of thought like, that's a that's a decent thing to have.
Yes, I agree.
If you can control it. Now we both know you can't control it, but it's a good thing to be able to tap into.
But I also think if you hate losing, it's okay. You're going to lose.
Right.
But it's okay
You're
to
going
hate
to lose less probably.
Yeah, but also like, it's okay to feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like he really likes to win.
So does everybody.
Winning's better.
Yeah.
But when you lose and you're crying and you're throwing a fit, suck it up. You lost.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you're going to lose tomorrow.
Right.
But right now you lost.
Yes.
So you can either keep crying or like, let's play again.
Yes.
But what I don't understand is the parents then will always then just let their kids win. They never want them to feel any pain. I feel like there's a generation of you're trying to keep all discomfort and pain away.
Yes.
But I'm like, they are going to feel it. It's a disservice because when they get older, the world isn't going to go like,
I know. Well,
how were you raised?
I know.
Were you raised gentle?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? Let me abuse that guy, but just come on through. I didn't realize you had a wonderful, loving.
We have no expectations for you.
You're
Go
like,
stand
no,
over there. I'm going to
is
hire you for a job that you can't do and pay. It's like
my mother raised my siblings and I as if the world was going to really be ready to fight us at 18, and it was going to be really hard. And my siblings and I have talked about the world was easier than we thought it was going to be based on what like my mom had said.
Yeah.
But I thought adulthood was going to be like, be careful. Like the thing is going to hit, and when it hits hard. And
it is pretty combative. Like I think about catting at 11. It was fucking hard.
Yeah.
We would get like graded and they'd write a review.
But of course you should. You're an employee.
I know.
But nowadays, if you write a review and it's negative,
I know.
You're like,
I know. You're a monster.
But what it's done for me is I've just gone inward a lot.
Tip for coffee.
Tip for everything.
No, I know. Tip. Everything's a tip now. And again, we're a million years old, but it's like, I would get a bad grade and it's like, hey, I'm 11. They didn't say for an 11, there was no.
You didn't do a great job.
No, I wasn't good at it.
And that's okay because you can get better. But right now, you weren't great at it.
Correct.
And I do look back fondly at 50-50 because there's also the person who pushes you. You're always mad at them. Where you go like, you could have been nicer. And then I go, but also I love that you did that.
Hey, did you like that? Did you like that? Yeah, did you like it though? You want more? Don't want to work? Would rather watch videos of me grab-assing with people? First of all, go up here to subscribe. And then go up here to watch more clips. This is like when the weatherman says that there's a high pressure system coming in. I'm not really used to the green screen.